Hey, what's going on? We're talking rock. I'm Cody.
I'm Charlie, and that scream just made me piss myself.
Today we're going to be bringing you our top 5 modern rock albums. I'm going to start out. My number 5 is actually from a local band called Chasing the Corner. It's called Riot Ranger, and the reason that this album blew me away was, one, the drums are just amazing, and their lead singer is probably the toughest girl I've ever seen. I mean, we watched her at our local club, and she got down off the stage and was pushing people around. Actually, got into the pit, and I mean, she's no bigger than 4'11".
She's like a little firecracker. She does not care. Get in your face, fuck you up. It doesn't matter to her, and it makes for a really really interesting show.
I just loved it. And then, like I was saying with the drums, I mean, amazing double bass patterns, and
His speed is really really good. I mean, me being a drummer, I really enjoyed the show. I mean, he had awesome grooves, different patterns. I mean, it wasn't the same double bass pattern you're going to hear. He did a lot of, you could hear a little Latin grooves, and with the double bass, it made it metally, and that's what I really liked. He just changed it up, and he was really really good.
yeah, and I mean, they're unsigned. They don't have any kind of record deal. So, if you're a record company looking for someone to sign, I mean, come down to the club and listen to this band. They're called Chasing the Corner, and they're just amazing. Number 4 is Slipknot's first album, and the reason I chose this album is because it pretty much opened things up to actually fast-paced double bass drumming. I mean, they're through and through their songs on that album stayed consistent. I know how, like, some metal bands, I mean, the beginning of their songs are really good, and then after the solo, it just kind of goes to shit. AC/DC. And so, I really liked how they kept the songs interesting, and I mean, their debut album's just as good as their, I mean, stuff that they're doing now. So it shows that they were as good as they are now, and I just love them.
Now, Joey Jordison may not be the fastest anymore, but coming out of the gates, he was. I mean, he was undoubtedly probably one of the fastest drummers in a band today. Like, I mean, you got your fast drummers, but they don't really play bands. For being in a band and working with more music than just playing drums as quickly as possible, he does it really well. His bass patterns are really, really clean, and they're just really quick. Now, I mean, you got bands like All That Remains with This Calling, phenomenal drum speed. But coming out of the gate, Slipknot, Joey Jordison, he was quick.
All right, number 3 is My Chemical Romance's first album. I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. And the reason I like this album, it's by far my favorite My Chem album. I actually listened to it after I heard 3 Cheers, and I mean, listening to it, you would think that they were a metal band. I mean, just amazing guitar riffs and double bass stuck in there. I mean, it's just pure emotion, and I wish that they could find that fire because they've never been as hot as they were that first album out of the gate.
Or the second one. I mean, if you watch Star Review on Danger Days, you'll understand where we're coming from. First album, phenomenal. Second album, they followed up. They did it really nicely. I even like the Black Parade. This new album, totally not them. They could have really did better.
All right, and my number 2 is When Broken Is Easily Fixed by Silverstein. I mean, I really like this band. Everything that they've done up to, their new EP that came out, it's all amazing. I really want to see them live this year. I hope that they come back around. I missed them earlier this year, and it just started a fire under me and got me interested in post-hardcore metal. I had heard some other bands before, but this one was actually more melodic and hit you in the heart. It made you think about relationships failed and things like that.
Every time I listen to a song, I think of where I was the first time I heard that song, and it just takes you back. I mean, the lyrics hit you, the soft singing, and then the powerful screams, backed by a drummer who is also phenomenal, and he uses only one pedal. I'm sure he has a double bass hooked up, but for most of the songs, he's playing one pedal, and the drum beats are just amazing. I mean, you also have a bassist who's equally as talented, who didn't really know how to play in the beginning, and if you listen throughout the albums, they got way better. And he also goes back up screaming.
Yeah, that's another thing that I really like because me playing bass and screaming, it's nice to see bands where I can be like, hey, this works for them, it's gonna work for us. Just let me throw my pipes in there. And my number one pick is As You May Know by Haste the Day. I mean, as you may know, Haste the Day is breaking up this year, which really saddens me. And the first album I ever listened to by them was their third album, Pressure the Hinges. And I mean, that album really got me just started in the metal scene, and it went from there. And I mean, I heard that album, loved Stitches, and then I went on to bands like Killswitch Engage and Silverstein. And I recently picked up this album, and just listening to it, I can see where it actually got so much better. And I mean, it got so much better, and I mean, things just went from there.
All right, now into my top five. My first one is a little weird. It's Yourself or Someone Like You. It's Matchbox 20's first debut album. When it came out, I was little. My mom listened to rock, so she got me into everything that I'm into today. And she would play this album, and I could listen to it over and over and over again and just not get tired of it. Um, to me, it was amazing. Roll Thomas is a really, really talented singer. The band behind him is just really good. You can hear rock, you can hear little subtleties of funk in the bass line, and that's what I really like about it. It doesn't sound the same as everything else.
Yeah, I really liked it too. My mom also had the album, and just being able to listen to the through the whole album. I mean, a lot of the stuff that came out in the '90s and stuff. There were the hot songs, but I mean, there weren't straight through albums, and I mean, they came through with that album.
I mean, as far as music decades go, '90s probably was the best for rock because it started off with Green Day and Nirvana and worked its way up through. I mean, '90s was a really good decade for rock and metal in general. My fourth album is again from, well, it's actually 2000. It's Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park's debut album. They really introduced a lot of good things, like they had the aspect of the rock, the deep hitting vocals, and then you had a guy rapping in the background, which I thought was weird, but I liked it. You didn't see much of that since, like, I think maybe Anthrax in the early '90s. They did something close to it, but Linkin Park really took the concept and took it a whole lot further. And so far, they're the ones I know that have really done it really well. And just they're the best at what they do, combining those two types of music.
Yeah, like they hit a lot of like metal riffs too. I always thought of them
Yeah.
as like a rap rock band, but they've been so amazing, and I love it all.
All right, my third album. Fucking phones today, dude. What is up? People want to blow up your house when you decide to do a video. They don't call all week. All week. No. But my third album, it's from early '90s. It's 1039 Smoothed Out Slappy Hours. It's Green Day's first album. I'm a huge Green Day fan. I love every album. I own every album. American Idiot's by far their best, but 1039 Smoothed Out Slappy Hours was their best debut album, hands down. I mean, it really paved the way for Green Day. Maybe not as good as Kerplunk, but it was their first album. It's what got them noticed.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I mean, I jumped on ship with the Dookie era, and I mean, I really liked that. And
A
then
lot of people did that.
yeah, and of course I had to go back because I like to have the credibility to know, hey, this is where they started, this is what's going on. So I listened to it and I really liked it.
All right, my second one is Godsmack's debut album, which is self-titled Godsmack. Again, my mom listening to the stuff that she did got me into Godsmack. She actually went to a concert, went backstage, met these guys, said they were really, really cool. I've yet to find out. I'm hoping to. Solid. Just saying. The album, amazing. From everything from Keep Away to Time Bomb to Moon Baby. And then you have the last song, Voodoo, which was, I mean, it was a really good song for its time. There wasn't anything really like it, and no one really heard lyrics like or vocals like Sully's until then.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, I wasn't as much into Godsmack, but I know, like, Voodoo kind of had, that tribal beat to it, and I mean it kind of gave you that feeling like Bayou voodoo stuff. And I mean they weren't really heavy stuff, but their riffs were decently heavy.
And as they went on, though, they got even heavier.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
did.
you've got to respect Godsmack for all the years of music they put out. It's phenomenal. My first album, it's similar to his. Only his was number two. It's mine. Is one burden is easily fixed. Silverstein, my favorite band, hands down. I know I did the thing about Canada last video. There's nothing against Silverstein. It's just a joke. But again, Silverstein has the two guitars that you can't even tell sometimes who's rhythm, who's lead, because they're so amazing together, and it's just stuff like that that catches my attention because you could be listening and the timing that these guys have and the harmonies that they play is it just really gets your attention, and that's what makes Silverstein. Besides Shane Toll's hard-hitting vocals and then into a powerful scream and then going back down soft again. It kind of reminds me of Pink Floyd, how it would build you up and then bring you down. It's amazing. But that's just my personal preference. But yeah, that's pretty much it for our top five debut albums. Uh, Take our list, dissect them, tell us what you'd add. The video's a little lengthy, sorry about that. Just let us know.
Yeah, comments. We always try and comment back if someone has something to say. Subscribe. We're gonna try and do a video at least once a week. It would be nice. We have ideas. I've been taking notes for the past few weeks about things, and so we'll be coming back at you as soon as we can.
And tell us what you want to hear. I mean, if you guys aren't listening, then we're not doing anything well. It's up to you. Any criticism is good because we can take that and learn and become better and better suit you guys for what you want to know in the future and what you want to hear. But yeah, other than that, subscribe and we're talking rock and we're out.
Later.